Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, comparing a Ford Mustang GT to a Chevy Camaro LT1, aka V8 Mustang versus V8 Camaro. Before we get into this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Ford here in Provo and Chevy here in Provo for giving me some time with both of the cars. I'll include a link to both their websites in the description down below so you can check out what they have. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Powering the Mustang is the 5-liter Coyote V8 that goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission. Power outputs are 480 horsepower and then 415 pound-feet of torque, and this one goes through a 10-speed auto. Now, powering the Camaro is a 6.2-liter V8 that also goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission in this case, and both of them you can get 6-speed manuals, by the way. Anyways, power outputs are 455 horsepower and then 455 pound-feet of torque. Now, before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. Now, this comparison between the two cars is a little bit apples to oranges. So this is a fully loaded GT because it seems like that's mostly what Ford dealers are currently ordering, is fully loaded GTs. And then this one is an LT1, so it would be better if I had a 2SS for this comparison. But it's actually extremely hard to find Camaros. 24 is the last model year for Camaros, and they're pretty much sold out. And so, yeah, this is the best I can do. At least they both have V8s. That was kind of the main thing with this comparison. But now that that is out of the way, you guys can see with the Mustang, it has more of a sleek, kind of like sports car styling. Whereas the Camaro, I would say, is more in between with the sports/muscle car styling. Definitely more of like a boxy front end compared to what you have with the Mustang. And then around the side here with the Camaro, our tire wheel setup is 245, 45, 20 in the front and in the rear. And the Camaro does have Brembo brakes with this package. And we take a few steps back, you guys can see the side profile. Again, it is more sleek than, you know, traditional muscle car styling, but it definitely has kind of a boxier look compared to what you're going to see with the Mustang. So with the Mustang, our tire wheel setup is 255, 40, 19 in the front and then 275, 40, 19 in the rear. And I love the wheel design on the Mustang. It looks really cool. We do have Brembo brakes with the Mustang for those of you that are wondering. And then I love the 5.0 V8 badge there. But again, you can see with the style here, definitely more sleek with the side profile. Now, taking a look at the key fobs, the functionality is actually identical, except the Ford does have the remote rev feature with the Mustang, which is kind of a cool feature, a little bit of a flex. But I will say, notice we just have a Chevy bow tie with the Chevy, whereas the Mustang actually has a Mustang horse in the key fob. Now, storage space in the back of the Camaro, as you can see, is decent once you get inside, but the opening is pretty small. And this actually has the original window sticker, which is pretty cool. You guys can see originally it's stickered for $41,000, quite a bit less than the Mustang, just saying. The Mustang has a similar situation, but notice that we have this opening here. So it does make the Mustang trunk a little bit more practical. And just to give you guys an idea of the price difference, this Mustang stickers for $59,945. Like I said, apples to oranges. But anyways, closing the trunks, pretty cool with that closing. The Camaro, pretty normal. It does have a cool spoiler though on the back. And again, you can see the boxy design. Look at like the wider hips and everything versus with the Mustang. I mean, it is boxier for, I guess, a newer Mustang with how they've done the taillight design. And by the way, huge spoiler with it. But let me know which exterior style you like more. Now, I'm not going to focus too much on the interiors because they are so different packaging-wise, but with the Camaro, if you get a loaded up one, you get soft touch at the top. You can see the soft touch down below on this one. And then this has cloth seats. You can get nice Recaro seats with a more loaded up one. And then that's just standard Camaro steering wheel. Even like with the ZL1, you still get the plasticky paddle shifters. And getting into the Camaro is not too difficult. It does sound pretty cool in startup. You can see with the gauge cluster design, infotainment system. You got the cool vents, which I've always been a fan of. You can get stuff like heated and cooled seats with the Camaro. You got all the drive modes and all of that. And like I said, you can get a manual. And then one big thing is the visibility in the Camaro is not nearly as good as the Mustang with the kind of smaller wedge design with the windows and all of that. And I will say the red seatbelts in this one are pretty cool. Now, taking a look at the Mustang, it's obviously soft touch all over the door panel and everything because, again, more loaded up package. And then you got these nice leather seats, perforated, all of that. And getting into the Mustang, I mean, it's probably a little bit easier than the Camaro. It's not a huge difference, though. Cool sound. Look at the steering wheel design here. Definitely a nicer look with the paddle shifters, but they feel just as plasticky. And then you got this huge gauge cluster set up. The Camaro has nothing like this when it comes to gauge clusters. Again, even if you go for like a loaded up ZL1, for example. But yeah, you got your automatic shifter. Again, you can get a manual with this. You got a bunch of different drive modes, just like the Camaro. But yeah, just kind of a different theme with the interior here. Now with that being said, let's take out both of the cars, drive them, and see how they drive differently from each other. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off in the Mustang. There's visibility of the hood, both of the mirrors, do have blind spot monitoring with this one. The rest of the rear, like I said, definitely better than the Camaro visibility. We are going to... I accidentally turned that way up. Okay, we're gonna turn that off. So, like I said, apples to oranges comparison. I mean, this Mustang even has like adjustable dampers and everything, so it's not the best. If I can get a better comparison down the road, I will do that, but I don't know if maybe it's just a Utah thing. It's hard to find both of these cars at, you know, a similar place, right, that are both relatively new. Like I've noticed there's quite a few Camaros for sale that are like, you know, 2017s, 18s, all that kind of stuff, but not a lot of the newer ones. I will say right off the bat, tons of torque, definitely solid on that, and sounds good. Yeah, very smooth. Now we're gonna pop it into the, let's see, sport mode. Yeah, we'll do the sport mode. Got cool animations with the Mustang. Again, even the loaded up Camaros don't have that, so this definitely is gonna have more of a futuristic kind of techie feel compared to the Camaro. So just take that into account. Oh, transmission's super snappy. Can pop into the manual mode here. Very quick with the gear shifts. Super smooth, super smooth. I really do like the Coyote V8. It sounds great, but it's got a, again, with the 10 speed, it's got a nice smooth feel to it. It's a really good powertrain. I just want to see kind of how the damping is through this, and the steering too. Ford must have changed something with the steering, because I mean it still has some vagueness to it, but it seems like this is better than the first time that I reviewed the new generation Mustang. It seems like they've, yeah, I feel like they've improved the steering feel a little bit. Interesting. Maybe they did like an over-the-air update or something. I don't know. Feels a little bit better though. But anyways, to cap things off here with the Mustang driving before we go pop into the Camaro. We'll pop into automatic mode. I think the new Mustang looks fantastic with the styling. I don't think, like, I think the, what is it, 2018 to 2023? That style, body style is not very pretty, but the 15 to 17, I think, or like the GT350 or GT500 styling, that looks good. And this looks good, but the Mustang in between, yeah, not so good. So yeah, this styling I think looks pretty good. Interior on this new one's nice. It has more techie, modern feel to it. I think a lot of people will appreciate that. And yeah, I mean, look at that. Look how cool that is in the reflection. It's just it's a cool looking car, and it does drive well. The only downside about the new Mustang, frankly, is just the steering, right? There's not as much feel as you'd hope with a sportier car like this, but let's go see how the Camaro drives. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off in the Camaro. There's visibility of the hood, both the mirrors, with the rest of the rear. Like I said, not nearly as good as the Mustang. With the more loaded up Camaros, you can get the digital rear view camera, or could, because I'm pretty sure Camaro production's over. But anyways, first thing you notice is this feels like a smaller car. It feels a little bit like it feels lighter, and it is, and the Camaro is in fact lighter than the Mustang. But yeah, you can actually perceive the size difference. The steering also, it's not any heavier, but I can feel what's happening on the front end more so than the Mustang. I'd say the Mustang steering is, there's not a lot of feel, but it's very direct. This is direct and there's feel. Now when it comes to the noise, they both sound good. I think the Mustang sounds a little bit better. The burble from the Coyote V8 I think sounds a little bit bit better. And again, that Mustang doesn't have any special exhaust. That's the standard. That had the standard exhaust for the Mustang. Let's see what the acceleration's like. Ooh, you get the backfires out of the exhaust with this one. The Mustang definitely doesn't do that. I feel like transmissions are both pretty good. I think the Mustang tuning might be a little bit more aggressive with the shifts than this, but they're both really good transmissions, both 10 speeds, very similar to each other. And we're gonna go through here. So same thing as the Mustang, kind of feel. Yeah, it feels like a smaller car. Yeah, I can feel what's happening on the front end way more with the Camaro than the Mustang. So you feel a little bit more connected to the car compared to the Mustang. So to cap things off with this comparison, Team Mustang or Team Camaro, I think it just depends on your driving style. If you're looking to like push the performance envelope all the time, right? You're gonna be like, you know, on the edge with the car. Yeah, the Camaro, it seems like, is the better tool for the job. There's more steering feel, and oh, I guess I don't have the parking space here. I thought I did. More steering feel, and it has a lighter weight feel to it. It's just, I guess I would rather drive one of these on the track than that new Mustang. With that being said though, when it comes to daily driving, yeah, the Mustang, I think that the sound is a little bit more exciting with the daily drive, and it's a little bit more comfortable and a little bit bigger, which I think that's what kind of leads to the comfort. Better visibility, that's for sure. So it kind of depends on what you're looking for between the two cars. And like I said, both transmissions are great. I will say with the manuals, I think that the Camaro has a better manual transmission. That Mustang, unless you go for the Dark Horse, the Dark Horse has a really good manual, but the regular GT manual is not as good as the Camaro manual here. And they both feel pretty much the same in terms of acceleration. Even though the Mustang has more power, it's a little bit heavier. Acceleration feels pretty similar, at least from what you can perceive. So let me know which one you like more, Camaro or Mustang. But I just think that even though they're technically competitors, it just seems like they're different tools. This seems like more of like a weekend car, whereas the Mustang, it has weekend car aspects, but it seems like it concedes some of that to be a daily driver as well.